Hey, hello, my name is Chardon, this is Project Hardcover, and we need to talk. We're using real names up in here, stuff is about to get serial. Yes, hello lovelies, and no doubt you've noticed I've been gone a very long time. Yeah, I've been gone almost a year, which is by far the longest I have ever gone without posting a video on this channel. But also, if you have been here for any length of time or have any kind of observational skills at all, you know that even when I do disappear for my shorter periods of time, it's always around now that I re-emerge. Yes, this, I'm gonna be 100% honest, is 99% due to the fact that it's summer for me. I take summers off from college, so I'm not doing school, so my life is like very much not as stressful, so I feel more comfortable doing videos. And then naturally I feel the need to do the obligatory I'm back and this is where I've been, this is what I was doing video, and those, at least from me, always boil down to, oh, I was in school and I was babysitting. Which I'm not going to say is a lie, because it's not, but it's also not 100% the truth. And so, per usual, here we are, we're in the same situation. I have been gone for some length of time. It is summer, I have re-emerged, and it's time for me to do the I'm back video. But this time, I want to be 100% honest about where I have been. And not just this particular time, but every single time I disappear from this channel for any length of time, not just in the past, but most likely in the future. And let me just preface this by saying that this is a video that I have wanted to make for a very long time. And by very long time, I mean since the first time I ever dropped off this channel for any length of time, whether that was a week, 2 weeks, whatever. Very first time that it happened, I wanted to make this video, but for whatever reason, I, was scared, or I was afraid that it was gonna be too personal, or it was gonna sound like I was asking for pity, or that it was just, whatever reason, I did not feel comfortable making this video. But, and you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember if it was in 2016, I think it was, or 2017, Emma, beautiful, amazing, icon Emma from Emma Books, did this wonderful series of videos based on mental health on her channel. And the very last video that she did in that series was her sitting down and doing one of the bravest things I've ever seen. She sat down and was completely honest and candid about her own experiences with struggling with mental health issues. And again, it was one of the bravest things I've ever seen. I have so much respect for her. It's not even funny. And she honestly helped me deal with, what I have to say in this video is not something I should be ashamed of. It is not something I should be afraid to talk about. This is my everyday life. This literally affects me every single day of my life. And it's what happens when I'm not here. It's why I'm not here. So I should talk about it here, and I should not be, afraid or ashamed to do that. So many thanks and props and all of the respect in the world that I can possibly give to Emma. Seriously, she is a beacon in this community. Everyone go subscribe to her. She is fantastic. And so, with all of that build up, chances are you've at least started guessing as to what this video is about. Yes, this video is about my own mental health. Now, I have run scenarios of this video a million times in my head. I have told this story to friends. I've told this story to myself, to the camera, a million times, and each time I do it differently, and there are things I like and things I don't like, and sometimes it's 20 million hours long because this journey has been so long and so confusing and has been going on since I was 13 years old, and sometimes I think, well, do I start there, or do I just, what do I do? So I'm gonna try and make this as basic and concise as possible, because I'm telling you right now, if I sit down and I tell you literally the entire process of this mental health journey, we will be here for 2 hours. This was just such a long coming to terms story, and nobody got time for it. Nobody, not you, not me, no one. So I'm gonna try and keep it as basic as possible while still really trying to impart on you what goes on in my brain. So with all of that being said, let's just throw it out there. I have anxiety and OCD. Now, these are two things that I am pretty sure I have never actually said on my channel. I mean, I think that there have been times where I've been like talking about a book and I'm like, oh yes, I love this book. It has great representations of mental health, and blah, blah, blah. I can really relate to that. But I don't think I've actually said, oh yeah, I totally feel this character because I have anxiety, or oh yeah, I totally understand what's going on in this book because I have OCD. I don't think that has ever occurred. I think the most I've ever done as far as referencing my mental health is saying that I have some kind of problem with it. So, mystery solved. Yes, I have anxiety and OCD. This is where stuff starts to get confusing, and this is why I kind of like talking about, the whole origin story, because it's not perfect, but I will say that I was officially diagnosed with OCD and anxiety probably when I was either 16 or 17 years old. I say officially and probably. This is because really when my mental health really started, its catalyst, awful, when my mental health was so bad and in such a way that it was not, flying under the radar anymore. It was full-blown throwing toddler-level temper tantrum in the corner, kind of you can't ignore it anymore, was when I was 13 and I was in middle school. But the first diagnoses that I ever received when that was addressed was my therapist just told me that I was depressed, which at the time made all of the sense in the world because I was just in a really, really bad place. I mean, I don't think, unless you're really, really lucky, I don't think that any middle schooler makes it out of middle school without going through a bad place phase. That doesn't necessarily mean that you turn into an emo or a goth kid, but I think that we all have that time in middle school where we're not at our best, whatever form that takes. We're not tip-top. So of course that was going on, but also at the time, my grandmother, the matriarch of our family, if you're from families like that, my personal example from Italian families, you either have a patriarch or you have a matriarch. I had a matriarch. She was my grandmother, and at the time we were dealing with her battling cancer. And this is just from my own personal experience with dealing with family members who have cancer. She was diagnosed with cancer very quickly, and she passed away from cancer very quickly. I want to say in under a year, she was diagnosed, she was sick, and she passed away. And during that year, my life was completely upended. I wasn't living in my own house. My school life was crumbling. My personal life was just, I felt like I had nobody that I could talk to. It was just completely in shambles. And yeah, it really, really hit me really, really hard. And while now in hindsight, we know that for pretty much most of my life, I've always had, you know, little hints and whispers of anxiety and OCD. In middle school, those little hint there and breadcrumb here turned into giant body crushing boulders. I'm talking, I was having full-blown panic attacks in the middle of my classrooms. I was having blackouts in the middle of my classrooms. I would just disappear inside my head, inside these dark, dark places in my mind, my brain telling me horrible, god-awful things to the point where I would panic, and just, it was really, really bad. This was also the time that I was self-harming. See, the way that my anxiety and OCD presents is like this. I will be doing something, or most often not doing something. I will be in a quiet place. I will have no real sounds or anything going on, nothing stimulating my brain a terrible lot, and a thought will pop into my head. And very quickly, this thought turns sour. My thoughts then proceed to do this. For those of you who have read Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, he calls this a thought spiral. I don't know if he's the only one who calls this a thought spiral, but he refers to it as a thought spiral. By the way, Turtles All the Way Down, excellent representation of anxiety and OCD. Just, oh, it was so good. It was so good. Just had to get that plug in there because honestly, it is one of the best portrayals of what this experience is like that I have ever seen. So yes, I go into a thought spiral. The thought spiral then causes a panic attack, or at least it starts to. And this is when my OCD kicks in. See, my go-to compulsion, what I feel compelled to do when I feel a panic attack coming on, is to hurt myself. Why this is, I don't know. We think that it lies in the fact that the majority, I don't know if I'm using this word correctly. Forgive me if I don't use these words the way you use these words, or if they're not the professional way to use these words. This is just how I use the words to describe my own experience. Anywho, what really triggers my anxiety is the sense that I am not in control of myself and the situation that is affecting me. So, examples of this, floating in a swimming pool. Like, if you ask me to float in a swimming pool, I will literally start having a panic attack because my brain, like, registers that I am not in control of the situation. The water is in control of me, and that is literally the worst thing ever, and I just start to panic. There's nothing I can do about it. Other situations that can cause this, the 1% of the time where I am not the person driving the car that I am in. Yes, 99% of the time, I am the person driving the car that I am currently in because I cannot handle not being in control of that situation. Like, it makes, it's not, like, I cannot articulate what that feeling is because I can feel the panic bubbling up just like imagining what it's like and what that feeling is, and it's not good. It's just, and for some reason we're not sure why, and when I say we, I mean me and my therapist and my counselors. We don't know why, but school is always a trigger for my anxiety. All the time, 100% of the time, without fail. The number one trigger for my anxiety is school. You might see where all this is going. So, yes, situation makes me feel like I'm not in control. I have no control over what's going on. So my brain reaches for self-harm, we think, because in a self-harm situation, I do have control. Like, I can control what I'm hurting myself with, where I'm hurting myself, for how long, how much. I am in control of that situation. And so that makes the panic subside, and then everything is okay. By okay, we mean not at all. Obviously, this is not in any way, shape, or form trying to say that self-harm is anything but not good. Like, it's not at all. Just no. But for like a good year to 2 years, that was my coping mechanism. That was my instinctual go-to. I'm about to have a panic attack. I need to hurt myself. But then I got into high school. I, for some reason, just on my own one day, decided I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna find some other way to deal with this. I don't know how I'm going to go about doing that, but I am, because I don't want to do this anymore. And so I did, and in making that decision, I also started to go see a new guidance counselor and a new therapist, and they are the ones who were like, yeah, okay, you might have been depressed, that does make sense, but really, what your real problem is you have anxiety and OCD. So that's why I say the whole officially diagnosed and all of this. It was a mess. For 4 years, this whole thing was just awful. I didn't know what things were. I didn't know why I did things. I lost time. I did things that I never ever would have done. I did things and I didn't even remember doing them. It was horrible. It was the worst. And I think the worst part of it was that I was doing it completely by myself. Hello, hi, this is a million years later because my iPad died and now it's darker in here and it's raining, so please excuse thunder and stuff. Let's just get back into it. So, like I was saying, I think the worst part of this was that I felt like I was completely alone. I felt like I couldn't talk to my friends because they would A, think I was completely crazy, or B, just have absolutely no idea or be able to relate to how I was feeling, because I felt like this was just something that no one could relate to. And then I felt like I couldn't talk to my mom because I felt like my mom is like going through the worst thing ever. Like, she is slowly watching her mother die of cancer, and I'm gonna, be like, oh mom, I'm sad. Like, I felt like I was gonna be whining to her about something that was completely insignificant and taking up time and energy that she did not have, and I didn't want to put that on her. And of course, none of this was true. Like, I had plenty of friends that were more than willing to listen to me talk about this stuff, who wanted to be there for me, who would have been able to help me get through this stuff. And of course, my mom 100% would have been there for me and would have listened to anything that I had to say. And I wasn't whining. I wasn't, not being a woman about stuff. I wasn't being a baby. None of that was true. It was just what my depression and anxiety and all of that horrible stuff was telling me, but none of it was true. So for years and years, I just wandered through this horrible mess of awful thoughts and doing terrible things to myself because I just thought that was my lot in life. That's just what I had to do. Which, of course, as I said, was not true. I got help in high school, and then stuff started to figure itself out and everything, and I feel like I am much more in control of, my mental health than I ever was before. That being said, I am not cured by any means. Yes, this is still a thing that affects me every single day. Like I said, there are certain everyday situations where they could potentially turn into triggers. Like if I have to get into a car and I am not able to drive that car, which does happen. And yeah, the entire time I am in the passenger seat or in the back seat, I am watching everything on the road, I am watching everything the driver is doing, and I am just talking to myself saying, no, we're not gonna die. This is gonna be fine. That car is not going to run through that red light and kill us. It's not going to happen. That's what I'm doing. And then also, like I said previously, the number one trigger of all of these things is school. Guys, I'm still in college, and yes, that kinda does explain why this cycle works the way that it does. Like, during the summer, I'll be here and everything will be fun and fantastic and great, and then school starts, and then all of a sudden, I drop off the face of the earth. And it's because of all of this. You see, guys, for like the first 2 weeks of school, I will be totally chill. I will totally be like, I got this, I know what I'm doing, everything is great, I'm so glad to be back in school, and I love everything, and woo! And then after like 2 weeks, that's when everything just goes downhill. I will be staring at my grades on my computer. For those of you who don't know, that's how college kids keep track of their grades, on a computer. I will be staring at my grades. I will have straight A's or A's and B's. I will have great grades. I will be staring at them, and my brain the entire time while I'm staring at the A's and B's on this computer will be telling me, you are failing college. What sense does that make? The answer is none. The answer is none. It does not make any sense. There is no logic to it. There is no rationale to it. But it doesn't matter. Once the thought spiral starts, once my brain latches onto this idea of you are failing college, it doesn't matter. I can stare at those grades as long as I want. I can go and talk to my teacher and be like, hey, am I doing okay in this class? Is there anything I can do to improve my grade? And trust me, I cannot tell you how many times I've gone and asked a teacher, hey, how am I doing in this class? I don't feel like I'm doing very good in this class. And they will full on look at me like, what are you talking about? You have one of the highest grades in here. Please leave. But it does no good. It does no good. That teacher could tell me, you have the highest grade in here. You are doing perfectly fine. No, I can't give you any extra credit. You don't need any extra credit. It doesn't matter. I will walk out of that room, and all while I'm walking to my next class, my brain will be saying to me, you're failing college. You're failing college. You are failing college, and you're gonna die. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I say. That's just how it goes. And I just have to work through that, which is extremely exhausting. It's extremely time-consuming, and that means that when I finally get home from school and I'm done doing all my homework and all of my reading for school and all of that, unfortunately, the last thing I feel like doing is making a video. And so that is where I go. That is why I drop off the face of the earth for so long of periods of time, is because that is what happens. It starts like 2 weeks after school starts, and it goes until those final grades are in. Once the final grades are set in, then it's all, oh yeah, look, I passed the class, yay! So that's the whole of it. That is where I go. Like I said, it does have to do with school. School does play a factor in why I leave, and yes, babysitting my nephew does curb some of that time as well, but the majority of it is up here. And so that was it. That was what I wanted to talk to you guys about. That is what I wanted you guys to know, because like I said, I think ad nauseum at this point, this is something that affects me every single day, every single week, semester, all the time it is affecting me. And you know, I just wanted to be honest. It's not just, you know, oh, I had homework so I was too busy, or I had to babysit so I was too busy. It's more than that, and it's deeper than that. And I just wanted to get that across. I wanted to be able to actually out and proud and say that, yes, I suffer with mental health issues, I have anxiety, and I have OCD. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just my life, and I have to live my life as best I can while dealing with those things. And this is how I do it. Now, with all of that being said, it is, as you noticed, currently summer, and I am off from school. I do have time. I am sort of busy this summer, but it's doing like some book related stuff, so that's cool. I am planning on doing a video explaining, you know, all of the things that have happened over the course of me being gone, because a lot of things happened, and I really want to share those things that happened because they were really exciting, and I want to share that with you. So I will be making that video at some point when, I don't know, don't hold me to dates. You guys know that by now. And I also want to explain some exciting up-and-coming things that are going to be happening, because a lot of them are bookish and they're really big and they're really exciting, and I really want to tell you, and I'm so excited, yeah! So just be on the lookout for that at some point. But the biggest thing of all things to take away from this is that I am not going anywhere. I am always, even if it's just a little itty bitty bit, I am always going to be on BookTube because I love BookTube. BookTube is everything that I have, like, ever wanted to do, like, ever. It is a place where you sit and talk to people who love books, tell them what books to read, have them tell you what books to read, and geek out about books. This is everything I've ever wanted since I was a wee child, and it's just the best, and I love it here, and I have no desire or intention to ever fully leave. If anything, you can always count on me coming back for Booktubeathon, because Booktubeathon is literally my favorite time of the year. Like, just, Booktubeathon is the best time of year, hands down. So, never fret. I am never going to fully be gone. I am always going to be here, even if it's only in small doses. I love BookTube, I love books, I love the BookTube community, and I'm not going anywhere. Thank you to everyone who has reached out to me over the course of me not being here and being like, hey, are you okay? I really appreciate that. That, like, meant a lot to me, and thank you if you have made it this far in this video. Like, thank you so much. Good for you. As always, thanks you guys for watching. I will see you next time. And remember, books are the escape. And Booktubeathon is coming, and I am ready.